Southern Ohio Farm Show. This is Gigi Neal of OSU Extension in Claremont County, Agricultural and Natural Resources Educator.
I'm James Morris, the Agricultural and Natural Resources and Community Development Educator for the Ohio State University Extension in Brown County.
And I'm Brooke Beam, the Ohio State University Extension Educator for Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Community Development in Highland County. And we will be your hosts for the Southern Ohio Farm Show. Welcome to the Southern Ohio Farm Show. Today we're here at the Spring Valley Tree Farm with Matt Longan, who is also the president of the Ohio Christmas Tree Association. So Matt, can you tell us all about Christmas trees and what we need to consider when we're picking our trees this year?
Good morning, Brooke. I welcome everyone, virtually in this instance, to our tree farm in Southwest Ohio. We grow trees here with the intent that people come and cut their own tree, but the trees are the same at a local lot. So what we're going to talk about this morning would work whether you come to a tree farm or whether you go to your local Boy Scout lot and pick a tree there. Probably the first thing to think about is to remember the trees outside look smaller than they're going to look in your house. And frequently people buy a big tree that is too big for their house. So be thoughtful when you choose. I am 6 foot tall, and this tree is a little bit bigger than I am, and it would fit very nicely in a room with an 8-foot ceiling. This tree is a Canaan fir. The spelling is C-A-N-A-A-N. It is the most popular tree now grown in Ohio. It's fir. It has a very soft feel to the needles. It is fragrant. It is in the balsam fir family. You'll find these trees throughout Ohio, and they make an excellent tree because the needles stay on the branches for a long time, 4 or 5 weeks easily. They're easy to handle and they're attractive. So Canaan fir is a good tree to look for. There are a number of others. We grow concolor fir, we grow a number of spruces, but this is a good place to start. Now, these trees are ready to cut at the farms now. You may find them at your tree lot already cut. If so, you want to check the branches and be sure if you pull your hand along them that you do not get any needles. That means the tree is fresh and it will work for you in your home. You don't want to take a tree home that is dry because many of those needles will fall on the carpet and you end up having to clean them up. I'm going to invite Josh to come up. He is one of our workers here, and he's going to show you the proper way to cut a tree if in fact you cut one at a tree farm. If it's already cut, you don't have to worry about that. So Josh is going to lean down. He's going to find the bottom of the tree. He's going to show him your saw. He's going to take a saw usually provided by the tree farm, and then he will cut here. Actually, he won't cut this tree because we like it, but it just takes a few strokes. The tree falls down and it's ready to go home. Most tree farms have what we call a shaker, and that shaker will shake the tree, get all the loose needles out of it so they don't go home with you. They also have a wrapper. We call it a baler, which will wrap the tree and make it easier for you to get it in or on top of your car. Josh is also an excellent tire. He's been trained to tie the trees on your car, and he only takes a minute or so to do it, and the trees go home and they don't move until you're ready to set your tree up. So that's kind of how you get a tree at a tree farm. At a tree lot, the same things happen, only you don't have to cut the tree.
Tell us about your season this year.
This year, this is our 32nd year of selling Christmas trees. And this year we sold all the trees that we had available, and Brooke can pan through this field and see that almost all the trees are smaller than me. That's because all the big ones were taken across 4 days, and we closed our farm selling almost 2,000 trees. It was a madhouse up here. We had approximately 5,000 people on this farm on Friday alone. The reason for so many people coming this past weekend is the number of tree farms has declined as people with gray hair like mine have decided to retire, and they have not passed their tree farm on to somebody young and strong like Josh. So we have fewer tree farms. We've also got, I hear, many of you who are staying home because of COVID, and you want to get out and have a good experience, so you've gone to the local tree farm. So that probably accounts for a few of our customers as well. The take-home message from a 30-year grower is that we need more tree farmers. Tree farming is not a hard job. It's out in nature. It is profitable. Our farm we sell a lot of trees, we make a lot of money. It's a good thing to think about if you're approaching a point in your life where you'd like to take on something different and you have good land. Sandy loam makes the best soils. These trees like dry feet, they like to drain. And there is a need in almost every major city in Ohio for tree farms in the outskirts to get started. It takes about 6 years to grow this tree from one that looks like this to one that looks like this. And we get about 1,000 trees to the acre. So on my 20 acres, we have approximately 18,000 trees. We have some driveway and barns and buildings, whatever, that take up the rest.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time to have us out here today. And we're sure lots of our viewers will want to go out and pick their Christmas trees now.
Well, I hope so. And I encourage you, call ahead. Many of the people that I know in Ohio have already sold most of their trees. So before you start running around to the farms or the places around your particular town, call ahead and make sure they have a tree for you, and then go get it quickly.
Hello, my name's Richard Purdin with OSU Extension for Adams County. I'm the Ag and Natural Resource Educator and Community Development Educator for Adams County, Ohio. And today we're out here on the farm getting our sprayer ready for winter time. The sprayer is a very heavily utilized piece of equipment on the farm anymore. It has found its place as one of the highly used and high technology piece of equipment on the farm today. And considering most farm operations have converted to no-till operations, this sprayer has found a very, very heavy used piece of equipment on the farm. So no-till practices have to have a lot of weed control. And with our weed control methods of the day of using more herbicides on the farm, the sprayer needs to be taken care of and needs to be utilized more on the farm and be taken care of going into winter time. So today we're going to discuss a little bit how to clean out your sprayer, how to get it ready for winter time, which is not too far away. So first things first, when you're done with your sprayer, the last spraying, it's recommended to rinse out that system of the sprayer. So rinse out the tank, flush it out. This if it can be done in the field, that's the best way to do it. That way the liquids can be placed on the field. Make sure to read the labels of the chemicals, because certain chemicals have to have certain cleaning agents to actually get them out of a tank. This tank here is stainless steel, so you want to make sure that any cleaning agents and herbicides that you use in it don't actually work against each other and create problems and have a reaction that can create problems in the sprayer system. But a lot of sprayers have plastic tanks or poly tanks. So today we're using a sprayer that has a stainless steel tank. So using water and ammonia, or ammonia from the home, is a good cleaning agent to clean this sprayer out. It's also recommended that you always use gloves and protective material like goggles or a mask too, because some chemicals give off fumes that can be harmful to your lungs. So wear the right protective equipment when cleaning or rinsing out a sprayer. So when you're rinsing, like I said earlier, it's best to do it in the field. But if you can't do it in the field, or if you're doing it on the farm lot, it's best to use a concrete pad with a slope to collect the water. And then it can be applied to the field later on, making sure that you're away from any drainage area or area that the water might flow is very important also when cleaning out a sprayer. So once your rinsing is done, you want to think about the outside of the sprayer. So the interior of the sprayer is definitely what we think about most of, like inside the lines, inside the tank, inside the pump. That's what we usually think of trying to get clean as most important. But it's also important to clean the outside of the sprayer, because a lot of these chemicals or herbicides are very corrosive. And also the soil sediment from going through the field, when that lays on top of metal, it can actually cause corrosion from the acidity from the soil. So cleaning the outside of the sprayer is almost as important as cleaning the inside of the sprayer. We also want to think about our screens, our filters, and also our nozzles. It's good to keep your nozzles very clean. Also using the ammonia, maybe in a small cup. Place these nozzles in a cup, let them soak in there, and then using a brush, a bristle brush, heavy bristle or something that'll have a good scrub, and scrub it down. A used toothbrush is also very handy to unclog nozzles and get the residue off the nozzles. So once your outside is clean, you also want to make sure that the inside of the cab is protected for winter time. Any holes, any areas that birds, mice, or any other kind of rodent can get into needs to be filled up or patched. So a lot of these cabs are sealed very well, but you want to make sure that you can patch those holes or patch those areas where anything can get inside and make a home during winter time. Any technology, so a lot of these sprayers have monitors and guidance and other technologies that are very expensive. I recommend taking them out and putting them in your farm shop or in your house during the winter time. Even though it might be in a barn, just the variability in temperatures during the winter time, being some days warm, some days really cold, can have an effect on those technologies. So you want to make sure you take those monitors out and put them in a room temperature building. So once you have all that done, once your screens have been cleaned, once your nozzles, your outside of your sprayer has been cleaned, once your inside of the tank's been flushed or cleaned, A good thing to do with your pump is to put a little bit of oil in it. Now, certain pumps have rubber gaskets inside, and oil can have an effect on them. So for roller pumps, you do not want to use any type of used oil or petroleum like that. Now, what is recommended is using just a little bit of car antifreeze or automobile antifreeze. Dribble that into the pump and then turn the pump 4 times, 4 revolutions, and that should coat the interior with that antifreeze. Or if it's not a roller pump, you can use some kind of petroleum product to coat the inside, because many of our pumps have maybe liquid fertilizer, maybe nitrogen, or even herbicides are very corrosive and will eat the inside of the pump out and decrease the life of that pump. So that is one recommended thing to do before you park it in the barn. So once all that's done, it's time to put it in the barn. And sprayers should be stored inside a barn. Outside, even under plastic, the weather can have a great amount of effect on rubber lines. So these lines, if they're exposed to the sunlight, they will crack very easily. The freezing and thawing of the winter time can have a detrimental effect on those rubber hoses. So and decrease the life of the plastic tanks and plastic handles on nozzles. So putting it in a barn is recommended. A dry barn, and the barn should try to be protected from rodents and birds and other animals that might make home into the sprayer. If you have any questions about getting your sprayer ready, you can always give me a call at 937-544-2339 and just ask for Richard Purdin, and I will help you out on any of your questions on getting your sprayer winterized. Everybody have a great day.
Welcome. My name is Chris Bruynis, Ag and Natural Resource Educator for Ross County. One of the more common questions that I get asked during my tenure as an extension educator is, can I claim the exemption from Ohio sales tax for this purchase? And so the first question we need to ask is, am I a farm? Agriculture does enjoy an exemption from Ohio sales tax for those items that are consumed or used in the production of crops that they sell. And I've got a list, and I'm not going to memorize this, so let me read this. And it says, the exemption for sales tax are sales of tangible personal property purchased for qualifying farm uses, known as the agricultural exemption. And so I think the first question we need to ask as we break this down, are you a farm? Are you an agricultural enterprise? And so that definition varies depending on who you're asking. The IRS has a different definition than the Ohio Department of Agriculture. And the Ohio Department of Agriculture, their definition is defined as the occupation of tilling the soil to produce crops and the raising of farm livestock, bees, poultry as a business. And so to me, that's going to rule out the hobby farm if you're not having that profit motive. And then it further broadens the definition to include agriculture, horticulture, and floriculture, but again, as a business. And so, if I want to claim that tax exemption, I probably should have a business plan. I should demonstrate that profit motive. Now, whether the profit happens or not is not as important as do we have an intent to make money. The other things that I want to talk about specifically applies to most items that will be directly used, consumed, or incorporated into the production of agriculture. Because of the diverse nature, there's not a comprehensive list. And so we can't say, yes, that is, no, that isn't. And so I think we have to start thinking about what it is that would categorize it. I had a farmer tell me one time that they went to buy a push broom to clean the barn, and the store said that's not tax exempt because it was a garage broom. And so the store can do that. Now, if you pay taxes on something and you feel that was a mistake, you can keep those receipts and submit a request to the Ohio Department of Taxation to have that reviewed and potentially have that reimbursed. Now, most times, if it's small dollar items, the process of going through that's going to cost you more in time and postage than it will be just to pay the tax and forget about it. And so there are items that we think of that are easily identified, and those include fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, and we go into tractors and plows and combines and all those tillage tools and harvest tools and grain carts. They also have added in, that's been a long time ago now, but recent years of my lifetime, portable grain bins. And so all grain bins can be bolted and unbolted. And so they're considered portable even though they're in place. Those are non-taxable. Field tile is non-taxable. And livestock structures and horticultural structures, and they have in there single-use livestock buildings and single-use horticultural structures are also exempt from the Ohio sales tax. It does not apply to everything. Items that are incorporated into real property. And so I had somebody call me the other day and they were wanting to add on a break room to their processing facility and wanted to know if the materials they were purchasing would be tax exempt. Well, that's not tax exempt because nails and lumber and all those things, it's going to be part of real property. And so that's no longer tax exempt. And then other things that we want to think about. I had another farmer call me a while back, asked the question, I'm buying an old school bus, and he happened to be in northern Ohio where there's some vegetables being produced. And he said, I'm going to use this bus to transport migrant labor from field to field. It's definitely farm use. But if it can be licensed and it can be run on the road, it is taxable. And so even though that was a really good farm use that they were going to use the old school bus for, it still fell into that taxable category. And so the other one that always comes up, and back in the 70s, maybe earlier than that, they used to allow ATVs and UTVs to be tax exempt, but no longer is that case. Lawnmowers would be another one. A lot of times we want to argue that we're mowing around the farm property, but we're also mowing the personal lawn, and they're not going to allow those dual use items that's going to potentially be used more for personal use than for farm use to be tax exempt. Other items that are on the list, a lot of times we want to buy chainsaws. Chainsaws are specifically listed as not tax exempt. Home garden equipment, and then weed eaters, and those types of items that we're going to buy that can be used in both directions, they're going to charge the tax. Now, if you can make a good argument and a good case that I'm only using this for farm use, and you can document that and prove that, then it's worth asking Ohio Department of Taxation to review that and potentially give you an exemption and that tax back. Now, one of the things that I find real interesting that most people don't know, Ohio Department of Taxation on their website does have a place where I can put in an inquiry. I can go in and say, I'm thinking about buying this, is it tax exempt? And they will give you an official ruling. Now, it's not a quick process, so if I'm planning on buying it yet this year, I'm not going to get that decision back that quickly. But it is interesting because over the years, I've had the opportunity to put that in for clientele and get an official ruling on what their stance would be on the tax exemption for agricultural use. So again, agriculture, that is one of the few exemptions we have that's beneficial. And this is Chris Bruynis. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm Kathy Bruynis, one of the educators here in Highland County. And with me today I have three elves who's going to help make cutout sugar cookies. My first one is
Reagan,
my second one is and
Benjamin.
they are three of our grandchildren. So Reagan is going to read the recipe as we add the ingredients.
First, we need to cream the sugar and margarine together.
After we add, 1.5 cups of sifted powdered sugar, and Benjamin's going to show you how to sift sugar. And Grant is going to pour in
The
1
butter.
cup of butter. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Okay, put it, there you go. Get it in there. Okay, put this one in there. Okay, you got it, Benjamin? No. Okay, that's good. You're good.
Still have more in there.
You did a great job, Benjamin. Okay, we're going to put that in the mixer. And what did you say? We're going to cream it? We're also showing you what not to do, so don't put it on too fast. Okay, what's next?
Next, we're going to put in our egg.
1 egg. Okay. One teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, let me get that liquid poured in. Okay.
Next, we're going to add our flour.
How much?
2.5 cups.
You guys help me? Okay. And 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Baking powder. Put it in there. And now we're going to mix it all together.
Now that we are ready and we have mixed all our ingredients together, we're going to put our cookie dough into the refrigerator for 2 or 3 hours. We'll see you later. We're back to make some cookies, and Grandma's going to start rolling out cookie dough.
We floured the countertop after we cleaned it. We put a little flour on our rolling pin, and so it won't stick as bad. So while I'm doing that, Reagan, what kind of cookie cutter did you pick out?
I am going to put on a snowflake.
I'm going to put on what is that?
a snowman.
Okay, Benjamin?
I am going to put on a Christmas tree.
Okay. Good job. Go ahead, Benjamin. And we're preheating the oven to?
375.
And how long are we going to cook these cookies for?
7 to 8 minutes.
And Reagan, how old are you?
7.
Grant, how old are you?
2.
And Benjamin, how old are you?
4. So she's taking them out of the oven since they've been in there for 6 or 7 minutes. And now they're going onto a cooling rack so we can frost them later. Because nobody likes getting burnt.
Well, here is our final product. They are getting ready to icing them. You can, when you're done, you can decorate them any way you want. Their way of decorating them is put icing on them and decorate them with different sprinkles. So, Grant's going to use green sprinkles on his.
I'm going to use multicolored sprinkles. Christmas colors though. And I'm going to use Christmas colors too.
And Grant, were they tasty? Because you've already eaten 2 of them?
Yeah.
Were they good?
Yeah.
What do you guys say? Say Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!